Maka Albarn, the main character of Soul Eater who I somehow have not talked about on this channel. In my opinion, Maka ends up being a bit underrated, or more accurately overshadowed due to the presence of her two teammates, the literal god of death, Death the Kid, and the unstoppable force of nature that is somehow stronger than the literal god of death, Blackstar. Despite this, I believe Maka is one of the strongest characters to come out of Soul Eater, so today we're taking a long overdue look at Maka, her weapon partner Soul, and all of their abilities. Before we get started, it'd be great if you like the video for the algorithm and subscribe to see future Soul Eater content here on the channel. About 13 years before the beginning of the series, Maka Albarn was born from her two parents, Spirit Albarn, a death scythe, and her completely and totally anonymous mother, who was noted to be an incredibly strong Meister capable of creating a death scythe. Despite this impressive lineage, Maka is the only character on her team that could be considered a normal human, not having any natural god abilities like Kid, being freakishly strong like Blackstar, or being a demon weapon. However, this doesn't mean her physical abilities are anything to laugh at in the slightest. Maka is noted as being one of the fastest in her class, being able to run 100 meters in 8 seconds, and has an impressive amount of durability, taking attacks from characters like Free early on in the series, and on a much larger scale, Asura during the final fight. Due to her chosen fighting style and being a part of Spartoi, Maka is a fairly proficient hand-to-hand combatant, being stated to be slightly worse than the likes of Patty, who had defeated multiple Spartoi members herself. As I mentioned earlier, Maka is a Scythe Meister and is aptly skilled at using one. Maka's Scythe handling skills allowed her to be recognized as part of the DWMA's strongest 1-star Meisters and weapons, a group that eventually became Spartoi, a group of the DWMA's most elite Meisters and weapons in general. Her proficiency in using a Scythe isn't just limited to her partner, however, as she is capable of using both her father in his Scythe form and Tsubaki in her Chain Scythe form. Even though Maka is a normal human physically, she has an abnormal soul wavelength called the anti-demon wavelength. What makes this so special is its ability to ward off all forms of evil or dark forces in general, such as madness, the influences of black blood, or even ward off the Kishin's madness illusions in their entirety. It's even strong enough to make Maka practically immune to magic from the likes of Arachne. Maka's soul itself is a rare type called a Grigori soul, which is stated to appear in every 1 out of 50 million people. This soul is identifiable by the wings seen on the soul's wavelength. The benefits it grants Maka aren't physical, but actually have more to do with her weapon partner, which we will get to later. Maka is one of these skilled Meisters that have the ability of soul perception, and hers just happens to be the strongest in the series. Soul perception gives Maka the ability to see and perceive other souls, which can give her information such as one's strength, personality, emotional state, or even their species. As with all Meisters her level, Maka has access to the Soul Resonance technique with her partner, and the team-wise Soul Resonance technique with her allies. Maka's Soul Resonance at the beginning of the series is Witch Hunt, the great traditional technique of the Scythe Meister. This technique enlarges Maka's Scythe and increases its powers greatly. Witch Hunter also has a slew of modified versions such as the letter U Hunt, the letter I Hunt, and the number 6 Hunt. These techniques vary based on how Maka swings her Scythe. Later on, Witch Hunt evolves into Demon Hunt, a technique specifically effective against beings such as demons, clowns, and witches. It was even powerful enough to take down someone as strong and capable as Arachne. Maka's weapon partner is Soul Evans, the last Death Scythe. Besides being a Scythe, Soul's main ability comes through his extreme amount of wavelength control. Soul has a piano in his soul, yes, literally, that he can use to amplify Maka's soul wavelength or even produce sound waves. Soul is also capable of passing on Maka's anti-demon wavelength to her allies through team-wise Soul Resonance. This is specifically useful for Blackstar and Kid's Madness Take Hold transformation, in which they can drastically increase their power at the cost of slowly losing their insanity. However, with Maka supporting them, this drawback is practically nullified in its entirety. After Maka fought and defeated Arachne, Soul became a Death Scythe and gained magic-like abilities from eating Arachne's soul. Being a Death Scythe grants ultra-fine wavelength control and allows Soul to fully utilize Maka's Grigori Soul. With this upgrade, Maka and Soul are able to manifest wings on the Scythe's handle, giving them the ability to fly. Soul can also greatly amplify the reach of Maka's soul perception, putting it on a planetary scale when searching for Krona, and even extending its reach to the moon. Another benefit of becoming a Death Scythe is the advanced shapeshifting granted to Soul. He can shorten his blade and handle to any length at will, and can even completely transform his blade into a piano. One of, if not the strongest ability Soul has is his ability to give Maka the effects of black blood through the use of soul resonance. Maka's black blood transformations can be placed into 3 different stages. The first is what I like to call black blood influence. In this state, Maka's strength, speed, and durability will be greatly increased on top of the added bonus of gaining regeneration. However, all this comes at the cost of her sanity. The longer she's in this state, the more she will sink into madness, only being able to return to her usual self with the help of Soul. The second state is the Black Blood Dress, or the incomplete Black Blood Armor, which she used against Arachne. This state changes Maka's appearance as she gains a dress made out of black blood. This greatly increases her durability and the effectiveness of the Demon Hunt technique, making it powerful enough to defeat the Heretic Witch. The third stage is the completed Black Blood Armor, which Maka used against Asura. After being stabbed through the stomach by Asura, Maka receives a full blast of black blood from Soul. This completely heals her and gives her a new version of the Black Blood Dress. The most notable difference are the Grigori wings that appear on her head, which grant her flight without the use of Soul. In this state, all enhancements granted to her in previous states are strengthened exponentially. As I said earlier, she was able to fully recover from having a hole in her stomach almost instantly, and take multiple attacks from Asura without going down. The Black Blood Armor also gives Maka her most powerful attack, Kishin Hunt. Kishin Hunt utilizes Soul's piano scythe transformation and enables her to enter Asura using the power of Black Blood and save Krona. Personally, I think Kishin Hunt is one of the most powerful attacks in Soul Eater, only being under moves like the Madness of Order Wavelength and Parent 7 Rays. As I stated at the beginning of this video, Maka is understandably overshadowed by her 2 ridiculous teammates. However, it should be noted that both Blackstar and Kid heavily rely on her supportive capabilities to fight against their strongest foes. Whether it's pulling them out of madness illusions or maintaining their sanity, their hardest fights couldn't have been won without her. She can be both the ultimate support and the ultimate offense depending on the circumstance, making her a very balanced fighter and undeniably the backbone of her team. That's it for this one.
Lately I'm feeling so cool. Yeah. Come and get a taste of the hip soul food. Spice up the animal when you haiku. While soul goes to school, way slash kung fu.